Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're going to go into what type of extensions you should be wearing when getting your hair styled for your wedding. So this one I'm going to try to keep short, but I have some feelings and I have some opinions.
Stop inflicting your opinions on the world.
And if you're interested in those feelings and opinions, then keep on watching. But before we get started, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. All right, so let's hop into this video all about extensions. There are so many extensions on the market, it's not funny. There's a lot. So we're just going to touch on a few. And we're going to touch on a few in a way for bridal styling. And I'm going to try to give you some examples, some reasonings behind these. So I have been a bridal stylist for 10 years. And over those 10 years, I have used extensions probably every single weekend. And all different types of extensions. So we're going to start with my favorite type to use, and I'm going to explain why they're my favorite. They are clip-ins. Now, before anybody tears me a new one or says that I'm crazy, as a stylist who's styling hair for a wedding, clip-in extensions are wonderful because number one, they're low in cost. Number two, I can put them anywhere I want to create the style that the bride wants. If they want an updo, they don't have to necessarily be clipped into the hair. They can be put into the updo by themselves without having to actually have them installed, which is a huge deal if you don't have a ton of time, if you're like running behind on your wedding day or whatever. And it's not super heavy. It doesn't make the hair super heavy. I love it for that reason. I love it for blending. I can put them where I want them. So if you are wearing your hair in a very Hollywood wave with like one side pulled back, I don't need extensions over here. I just need them here. And if your hair's the same length, then I wouldn't be putting any here, and so you're not going to see them. So they blend a little bit better because, again, I have the control over where they go. So clip-ins are my favorite. Some of my favorite clip-in brands, I will link all of this down below. My favorite clip-in brand is LuxyHair.com. The reason I love Luxy so much is because they have so many options, so many color options, and when you get the box in the mail, there's going to be a top portion of the box that you're going to be able to open and test the color, and if the color is not accurate, you can put the color back in the box and ship it back for a return. As long as that main box isn't opened, you can still return it. Big, big, big plus there. I also really love the Sally Beauty extensions. They're about the same price. The only thing is they don't have a ton of colors and you can't return them once they're opened. Not great. But if you're in a pinch and your stylist says, I think we need extensions, Sally's Beauty is usually going to be what is going to work for you. And Luxy, there's always somebody there to talk to. You can send a photo. They can help you out with the color. They're just a really great company. I would stay away from an Amazon extension clip-in. Have I seen good ones? Yes. Have people got extensions in the mail that are fake and synthetic? Yes, because it will say that it can be heat styled. However, that usually isn't the case. And we don't want hair melting. So I would stay away from Amazon. If you're a seasoned Amazon user and you know what you're doing, then by all means, but I recommend Sally's and Luxy.com. So I think you won't go wrong there. The second type of extensions we're going to go over are tape-ins. So I've worked with tape-ins for many years, and just a side note, I don't work for any of these companies. I have worked for an extension brand before. I do not now, and this is completely non-biased. Just sidebar.
Updo. do.
With tape-ins, the reason I like them more than maybe some others are because if the bride wants an updo and they need volume in the updo, the tape-ins don't hurt when you go to lift the hair and pin it in place. That's a huge deal. If you want to be devil's advocate on the other end, sometimes it is hard when you're doing an updo with tape-ins because the bobby pins, it doesn't feel great when you put a bobby pin where a tape-in is. It can hurt the client. So you have to be aware of where those bobby pins are going so you don't hurt the client. But typically, it's not an uncomfortable style because lifting just a piece of tape-in is a lot better than lifting more hair. I hope that makes sense. Also, tape-ins are done by a stylist. So they're going to come to the wedding day and they're going to be blended, they're going to be colored to perfection, they're going to be cut. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they're going to be all of the above. So she's going to be ready to go. Especially if she's wearing her hair down or in a half up, half down. It's going to be a lot easier to style because her hair is already done. Downside to tape-ins, if you are wearing a style that's half up, half down, you go to braid anything, you're going to see a tape. You're going to have to be strategic to where you braid that hair. So there are pluses and minuses to tape-ins. The next style we're going to go over, or the next extension type we're going to go over, are hand-tied. So this is a newer type of extension. I wouldn't say newer, it's been around forever, but we live in Florida, so everything takes forever to get to the East Coast. They've been doing it out on the West Coast forever, but I've been dealing with hand-tied extensions for many years now in the styling realm. And this is just me, my experience in styling, what I recommend for styling. What I've noticed, the downsides of hand-tied, because you are dealing with a long weft that's very heavy, that's coming across in a U shape. Usually there's two wefts, and they're sewn and clamped in. What's happening underneath that weft is the client is not able to wash underneath that weft. So what's happening is I'm having to take dry shampoo and just douse her hair underneath those wefts to get that, styled, because it's just laying there. It's greasy. Somebody's not explained to them that they have to lift the hair up and they have to really get in there and scrub. Well, and if you have extensions, you don't want to wash them every day, especially hand-tied, because that's a ton of hair. It's heavy. It takes forever to dry. So they're not washing their hair as much. So they're coming to get their hair styled on their wedding day, and it is just dirty and not holding, and it's not working. It's great to have your hair dirty a day, but if it's been a while and you don't know how to wash them, your hair is just going to lay there. So what I do love about hand-tied, if you wear your hair down, the hair is stunning. It's just so much hair. It's amazing. You've just got this like gobs of it, and it's just like you have all the hair in the world to work with. The biggest, boho-iest braids you've ever dreamed of. Bad thing about doing an updo with hand-tied is because the hair is so heavy and dense in those two areas, the hair almost never stays in an updo, and it is so heavy and it is not comfortable. So keep those things in mind when you're deciding on what types of extensions to get for your wedding day. There are several other extension types. Bonded extensions, which I haven't seen bonded hair extensions in so long, but I don't hate them. When I see them, number one, they're attached to a tiny, tiny little strand of hair. They're easy to hide. They style up in an updo beautifully. They style down beautifully. I know that they're not great for the hair, but this is in the realm of styling. I love to style bonded because it's like just strands of hair. I don't have to worry about lifting up a tape-in and putting a bobby pin in and hurting the client. Typically the bobby pin moves right around the bond. So it's really great. There's those micro beaded extensions. Those can get a little tricky with the bobby pins because it is metal on metal. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, it is where you have a clamp, like a little metal clamp with a silicone center, and you physically put the hair and clamp it onto the hair strand. So when you're thinking of putting an updo or putting some of your hair up, you're going to be metal on metal, and that could also hurt the client. But it is a smaller hair strand, so it will style in an updo really nicely, but not as nicely as your bonded extensions. So I haven't seen those on someone in a very long time. I know they exist and they're probably still are being done, but I wouldn't recommend those particular extensions for your wedding. So I think the moral of the story is figure out what you want to do with your hair for your wedding day if you're getting extensions specifically for that occasion, and go from there. Because every single type of extension is going to have its ups and downs. If a bride asks me, what do you think about extensions? I think I like hair. The more hair, the better. I'm never going to say no. If you want more hair, get more hair. It's your wedding day, go all out. So that is my advice. I hope this was helpful. I hope these little tips and tricks will help you better decide what type of hair extensions that you decide to buy when you get married. And don't forget, before you leave, to hit that subscribe button, like and comment down below. Let me know what kind of extensions you used on your wedding day. If any of this was accurate, I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot of I'm wrong from stylists or people below, and that's okay. We all have our own opinion, and that's fine. But make sure that you go and follow me at Blush and Mane on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and all the things, and TikTok. I'm on there too now.
Millennials, who are they? What do they want?
So I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.